This is trade video purpose. In today's video, we want to talk about how you draw your key levels from the higher time frame using 1 week and the monthly time. We are going to be drawing our key levels on the weekly or on the monthly time frame. So this is where we actually draw the key levels. Then we trade it with the smart money concept using the market structure. So after which we draw the key levels, then we now start looking for what is the market structure, what is the market saying at that particular time. Are we in a bearish look or in a bullish move? All right. So using the smart money concept, then we check change in trend. If you're in a downtrend, is there any change in trend, change of character? We check all those things. Maybe break of structure, trend continuation. Then we also discuss on how we get our entry and also how to exit the market. So before we dive into the video, use this opportunity to smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't stay outdated when I drop awesome content like this. All right. So let's dive into it. On the monthly time frame, so you can see this is one more time frame right here in front of me. So let me have a full screen as well. So the first thing, if you're plotting out your key levels, what you need to do first is if you need to make the chart, swing the chart, and so you can see the previous price actions and the where price actually have the obvious turning points. And you want to make the chart very small as possible as you can. Just make it look like a line chart. So further do, you can also just click on this line chart. So just be a line chart. And here you could obviously see where there is major turning point in the market. Like for example, this point here, and price came here again, here again, here again. So you can see this bottom here is the obvious turning point. And anytime price get there, price will just trade bleed out of it. It always reacts at that particular zone. So I'm just going to plug the zone like this here. So this my first weekly level I just plot. So let me see if I can change the color. Okay, I think I'll be more interested in using that blue color above so I can differentiate between the major levels and the daily and the weekly. So I'll prefer using this blue color so I can differentiate between major levels and the other levels I'm going to plot in. Alright, so now I plot this first one here, which is the over 9 points, and I'm also going to click on it and clone it. I'm also going to be having another one here at this particular button here, for which I try to accommodate this guy and accommodate this guy too as well. So I have two major turning points I just draw out, and this is exactly where price is trading for now. So I just we can actually plot out more levels above. We have another one here, this middle here. If I press on this one now and clone it, so we see we have another one here and the top here. So now I drop the stop. I try make sure it accommodates this, accommodate this one, accommodate this one. So once you have three major points touching it, so you just leave it. Other points to always come and respect it. All right. So now I'm just going to leave it at this three so you can continue plotting like that, plotting like that. So I just show you an example of how you can plot out your major levels. The major reason why we're pressing this level is for us to be able to identify that maybe even we are actually, let's say we're selling from this point and at this point we get here, we know that oh, price has hit a major level. We want to stop selling at the moment and try to observe what price wants to do at this particular zone. So that's one of the reasons why we are crossing this major level. As well, after the major level, they also have some levels which we call the minor level, but I'm not going to be crossing the minor level. All we're interested today is crossing the major level. Like for example, this particular level here is a minor level. So minor levels are levels that you use to guide your trade, and these are the level that tells you, okay, at this point you need to close your profit. At this point, you need to take an entry. So these are basically what minor level do. You have this one here, by clone this one, we had another one at this middle here. So this typically are just support and resistance, all right? So, but we are not going to be trading this minor level today. So we actually be using the SMC strategy to be trading at this minor level. So I'm going to delete this. The only one we are interested in plotting out is the major level, which we add one here, we add one here. And if you try to look at what price has been doing from this point here, you clearly see that from this area here, this particular high here, all the way to the bottom, price is in a downtrend. And this is how you confirm the price is downtrend. Here, price came down, broke structure, price came to that same area, we tested it. What went down again, break structure, price came to that area, we tested it twice, then went down again, break structure here. And after when price break structure here, it came to this weekly level. The price come back and test this level after it's no. This is how we signify that okay, this actually really here is not a major level, this is a minor level. Because price moved from zone to zone. That's exactly what I said. You can see when it came here two times and drop. And if you try to check it here now, it's two times here to our goal. Price move from zone to zone. So when it's going down, it's going to test it. When it's coming up, it's going to test it. So you can see coming down from here, tested here, pull back to this one. So this are major level. This is how you identify major level in the market. All right, so now we throw out a major level on the monthly time frame. So now what we need to do is scroll over in time frame, go to the weekly time frame, and try to see what exactly price is seeing there. So what I use my monthly time frame for is just to identify my key levels and I put them out. That's really what I use the monthly time frame for. We don't trade on the monthly time frame as well on the weekly time frame. We don't trade on the weekly time frame. So what I do on the weekly time frame is I try to identify pattern, chart pattern. So once I get a chart pattern on the weekly time frame, I say, okay, a particular chart pattern is playing here. All right. I try to observe that and I take note of that. And as well, I check my majors level. Are they well plotted on the weekly time frame? Because 4 weeks candle give us a 1 month candle, all right? So 4 weeks candle will give us a 1 month candle. That's how we have a monthly candle. So I'll try to check up. I'm not leaving any level behind. Like for example, this situation here, you see that I have the bricks dropping below here. I was way too much of bricks dropping below here. So on this weekly time frame, I can practically bring it right down here. So it accommodates all of them very well. So you can see I've not been able to cover all the body that dropped down here, as well the body that dropped down here. And this is still looking very nice, very nice. So checking this middle to our goal, I check there, it's the balance, accommodated here, confirm there, confirm there. So it means I plot this one very well. All right. So the only one that I didn't plot very well, that one that is down. So you see this one too, touch everything nicely. All right, touch everything nicely. So now this is what we do on the weekly time frame. So looking from this point here as well, like I told you, looking at chart pattern, we can see that this was a clear double top, a one top here, a two top here, which played this market all the way to the down. And that was the first thing identified on the weekly time frame. All right, that's the first thing that was the reason why price dropped to this point. So as price is kind of approaching this area now, price might actually still come to this zone here and so price might actually come to this area and then what bleed all the way back down. So that is first thing we identify plotting this our major level. And obviously looking from this point here, we could see the last break of structure on the higher time frame. We could see that was very clear was this area here, which it was this last high we had here, and this was the last low we had. All right. So this was a very clear break of structure. Even at this point, we had this kind of a double top here. If you look at this price here, after it breaks this particular structure here, coming down, and the high that break that structure was this high here, and price will didn't get to that high. It only gets somewhere here, came down again, broke this structure again. We had another break of structure here, and what price came back here. And if you look at this point, price never took out this low. It's what it break down again. So anything that makes price take out the last low that was created, that is signifying a change in character, and that's telling us that we are now what in a bullish move. But presently, still looking at this market from the higher time frame perspective, from the weekly and monthly time frame perspective, we are still in a downtrend. All right. So no matter the buy you've taken previous from my previous videos, we still what we are. It's just like we are counter trading against the monthly time frame and the weekly time frame. But actually, we are actually still on the line, right? So, and not just that, when you see price hitting the major trend and going up, and you see price creating series of higher highs and higher lows, it also signifies so that we are in an uptrend. All right, it's just that we have not yet take out the structure that was created from the higher time frame, and we are actually trading from one zone to another. Which, if you are buying, we are very very right, and that's just the way. That's just the that's just the major work of plotting your key levels. All right. So now we plot our key levels. We're done with the weekly and also done with the monthly. Now I'm also done with the line chart. I cannot go back to my candlestick charts, right? Because it's only candlesticks that is going to make you the money, not the line chart. Not here we start looking for patterns on how to trade. All right. So at the point price drop to this area, if we were to trade from this area here, price bleed here, right? So now, after we add the major structures, we also used to have something we call the minor structure, which I call the internal structure. From this high here to this bottom here was an external structure we could see. But inside the external structure, we always have inner structure playing out. And what inner structure does to us is that is what we used to give a bias of where we want to enter the trade and where we want to take our profits. That is the major work of the inner structures, right? So looking at this point from here, from this bottom here, when price went high here, you could see that this point here, when price was coming down here, let me zoom out this area. So you could see that price was pulling back, drop, pulling back, drop. So at this pullback we had here, This was a break of structure from the internal structure, right? So we are not talking about the internal structure. So this was a break of structure. We just leave it out a break of structure. So after we break structure the downside, so if this downtrend still needs to continue, this particular high here should never be taken out. And it also gives us an entry that okay, if price come here, we might be considering selling off from this point again. All right, once price tapped into it, we want to consider selling off from there again. And which ideally price came into it, you can see it here. So let's say we take the sell here and we actually took a loss and we see what price closed above it. So at this point here, it's now a change of character from the inner structures. So and once we have change of characters, all right, so this is a clear change of character here. This was not where price took out the character. This was where we had the change of character. Here, I would just say this core eyes because we could only see that it's a weak spikes above it. So let's just say cleared liquidity, but notwithstanding, it still came and end up closing above it, which now signifies to us a change in trend. All right, that was a clear change in trend. And now, once we have a clear in trend from the external structure, your target level should always be now this is how you exist each trade you take. This trade exists. So your target level should always be those areas where price push up and pull down. The last those turning points here is those areas you want to mark. That's where you want to be taking your target because those are the area where attract price. Those are the area that attract price. You also have another one here. So these are the area you want to mark out to take your target. So from this one we add this one, then we add another one up here. These are the areas that attract price. These are the area you want to take your target. So now we have this major zone here. All right, this is the major zone. So now this particular weekly zone I draw it here, I can also replace it with my other block and this other block and other stuff we used to use. So which I'll just plot. This was the last other block we have here. I can just plot a other block straight down here. This is what I mean here. If I delete this guy, I can actually just replace it with this simple something like this. So this is what a clear other block. This is a weekly order block. So price, anytime price come into this zone, we start eyeing that, oh, we need to close our trade at here. So once price come here, we want to observe what we want to do. If you want to play down or go up. So this is a weekly order block. Now I just gave you a clue. So now you see I was able to replace this blue zone I have here with this one. As well, I can replace this one as well. But replacing this one, if I delete this one now, you also add this same last drink candle, this ejection candle. So I'm going to be using the body and those market out like this. So you can see that well that same place we plot the blue. All right. Now looking at price here, this low here is the last low from the higher time frame that we saw that price gets to, right? So I'm just going to draw like a dotted line here. Excuse me. So then for the upside, I'll also be using this dotted line. So you can see this is the dotted line. You can see right above that's our other block area there. Now we price as the buying from this area all the way to this top. All right, now this is where we made the price. But if you try to start analyzing from this previous area here, this was the first other block I plotted. I said if I want to start buying, we need price to push back here, and you can see we added here price push into it and bleed out, and that was where we added change the character. So after the change the character, price also gave us another entry situation. This is how you now. That's why I thought. Sorry guys. So that's why I told you that all you need to become a protective trader is the candlestick pattern. In fact, candlesticks carry like 60%, 60% of your journey becoming a portability. So if you understand candlestick pattern very well, at least you cover 60% of your problem becoming a profitable forex trader. All right. So which in my upcoming videos, I might be talking about candlestick. I might be doing videos on candlestick, how you actually read this candlestick, each candlestick, what it stands for, the anatomy of candlesticks in my subsequent video. At this point, if you're finding value in this video, want to drop subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't stay audited when I drop also content like this. So now let's continue with the video. So this particular area here, after price came here, confirmed here and was bleed out. This was another entry it gave us here, which if it's coming into price will like dropping back into this zone and continue buying. And at this point here, after we add the break of structure here, so this is now a break of structure here. So I'm just going to label this a break of structure. Oh, sorry. Okay. So after we add a break of structure to this upside, we are expecting price to pull back all the way down here, but that didn't happen. And as well, if you notice something that happened here, in this particular area here, we put in a double top. So this double top here signify what? A trap. And this what means is liquidity. So once price drops to this zone, where price wants to attract, what the zone that attracts price first is this particular double top that is here, this particular one. So because this is not a normal double top deal, so this is liquidity, all right. So this liquidity, it attracts price, and you see that price didn't push into our area of interest, and price was started what bleeding all the way high, and you can see that it took off this high, went higher. So now, while price was going higher, it also gave another entry. This is what price always does. Anytime it's, even though if it didn't come to area of the area of interest that pure high, even price doesn't come to pure high, it's always leave a zone that you can use to take advantage. Now the last other block it dropped for us was this one as well. We had this other block. Now I can, once I plot a new order block, I'll try to delete the previous one because I don't want the chart to look too rough. All right, so I'm going to delete the previous one. Now this is the new order block we have here. But on the weekly time frame, we don't trade, and on the monthly time frame, we don't trade. On the daily, we can still trade, but that's if you want to, let's say you want to swing trade maybe for months, that's daily time frame. But if you just want to swing trade maybe for 1 week, 3 days, 4 days, and stuff like that, the 4 hour time frame is the best for that. If you want to day trade, you go to 1 hour, 15 minutes time frame. And if you want to scalp, that's 1 minute, 5 minutes. So each time frame has their purpose and what they actually stand for, right? So once we add liquidity here and the price was came down back here after breaking structure here. At this point, after I cleared off this structure here, we also had a break of structure. I mean, after when price cleared off this liquidity, we also had a break of structure at this point because you can see this is the clear break of structure. So I'm just going to label that break of structure. After the break of structure, you see that price dropped into the zone and what bleed out. So on the 4 hours time frame, I do take most of my entries. Like if I'm trading my higher time frame for analysis, like on the 4 hours time frame. So, but let's go straight to the daily time frame. Let's see what we got on the daily time frame. So this that same zone I marked out. So coming to the daily time frame here, you can actually reduce the whole bunch of this zone we plot on the weekly time frame. And what I'll use here is you can see that when price dropped, this was the last weight candle it gave us. Then we add about 3 candles to cover this candle. So now this candle become a source candle. We reduce it like this. So that's, don't worry, we cover most of this thing when we get to candlestick pattern. You understand the purpose of each candle. So once price drops into here, this is where we now want to have but interest. And we look at this zone here, this particular area here, price actually dropped into it before it flew out. So before it actually gave us this reconstruction after giving us this double top. When price came down, give us this entry, it bleed into it and went up. Now coming to this zone here, price already confirmed to us that this zone is very valid, but there is something missing. You see that this was a very massive red candle, and we had about 3 candlesticks to cover just one red candle. Okay, let me move this one aside so you get what I'm saying there. We had about 3 green candles to cover just one red candle. So in this kind of situation, even at this 3 candle close, this last one that even closed, the had a pullback inside. So I'm not going to be having entry in this kind of um situation. Though we are clear of liquidity at this point here, which is very fine, clear of liquidity. So even if I put a pending order here, and I took this by all the way to this point where we take the break of structure, I'll still like price coming back to this one again. The reason being that this rejection here, it means sellers are not really done with this zone. There are pending orders situated at this area here, and this particular last green candle. If you watch the last video I dropped, I actually talked about using the last when I was talking about I think the demand zone or supply zone. I think it's supply zone when I was using the last green candle there to take an entry and you see how the trade plays out. So this same last green candle I saw here, because you see why am I using this one as the last green candle, not this one? Here there was a gap in the market, so this is like a weekend close. So when like a day end, then and also a weekend. So the following week, once open price gap to the upside, then price came back and covered it. So this stands as my last week candle here because of that gap that we have there. All right. So I'm going to mark the whole of this one here like this out. Now I cannot delete this particular one I drew before. So now this is my new entry candle. All right, this is my new entry zone. And not just that, I draw that zone as well. You also notice that in the middle there's an FVG in the middle, like imbalance in the market. All right, you see that the width of this candle and this one does not touch. So in between here we have an FVG. So which this zone make this zone very more valid for me. So you now see price came back into it in the future, tapped into it, and where am I targeting? I'm going to be targeting this high because I told you price move from zone to zone. These are the green lines I draw from the weekly time frame. So I had this. So now price has cleared this one. You can see it cleared it. So we have this one which is still almost in line with this one that is up. So I'm going to be using that as my target zone. So this is how you target as well. So I'm explaining entry and target together. So this is entry and this exit. All right. So this one, I'm just going to target in this zone like this. My stop loss just come below this place. This is exactly like my stop loss. I'm not going to put the stop loss below here. I'll just put my stop loss below this zone. All right. So except if I see maybe the pips in between here is not much, then I'll cover here. Now you see price tapped into it and what gave me full TP there. All right, after we had a full TP here, so I'm just going to this was the risk what of 1 to 7 on the daily time frame. All right, and you could see this was almost about 147 pips. So this is a lot of pips because it's on the daily time frames. All right, and what we now try to notice from this point is after we get to this point here, we now cannot clearly call this one a break of structure. This was the clear break of structure. This was the clear break of structure. All right, so now we are the clear break of structure here. So now we know what when price was going for this high. The last other block that price left for us where we can take entry, the last other block that price left for us to take entry was this particular one here. This particular one here. You could see that it was even a green candle. So it doesn't mean that the last red candle that price left that you use as the other block. No. So that was when we get stochastic pattern, you're going to understand more of these things. So if I draw this guy forward, now this price coming down here, this particular one, does it get to this place? No. And it jetted from here. So this area now become an inducement. So this area become a liquidity. So price is always going to come and what clear off this guy and tap into this POI and continue with the buy. All right, which was exactly what we had here. You could see it. So this was exactly what we had. The price tapped into it and what the buy took off right from there. So if I take a long position right from here, this point here, stop loss go below it here, and target. So this previous high. So we clear this one. This is not the new high you can see. So that will be my new target. All right. All right. So you can see that yes, price tapped into it and what and bleed all the way out. It bleed all the way out. Here we had price tapped into this zone and bleed all the way out. Now when price was going, it left us with a zone to right. It left us with a zone. Price will always let an area where it's always likely going to be pulling back into. And which zone does it let for us? If you try to analyze what is happening here, the only zone now this is not the zone here. The only zone that is not valid that price left for us is this particular area here. And this area here, that's where I'm going to be mapping out like so. Okay, so I marked that down zone like that, then I'm going to drag it to the future like this. So that is an area where I'm not interested in price dropping to before we continue with the upside, right? But looking at what is presently happening here, so you see that now price at the point at this point here, when it was coming down, we expected this to come down back here, but now it hasn't come down back there. It's went higher again, and what prices are not changing. You are seeing a double bottom like this. It's always signifying to us that price will always wants to come back and clear off this low and what continue with his move. But before that, and continue with his move, right? You can see that it came and clear off this bottom here. And actually going to clear off this bottom, I was still expecting these guys to drop all the way back here, but it didn't happen. Even it's there's another block at this middle as well. Maybe even if you get to this middle, but that didn't happen still as well. So now in the future, price always attract back all the zone, right? So but now presently looking at what price is having here, if you try to analyze what is happening here, not just that this was not the first place we had a change of character, right? This was the first place we had in this middle here. We had one bottom here. Then price was pushed back, then break this particular bottom, giving a double base on this one. So this year we had a first change of character, but this was not clear enough. All right, this was not clear enough. And price went back after it break this bottom here, it break this, we had a change of character. It left another block which you can use as entry, which is this particular green one that is up here. And you see price tapped into it. And immediately price tapped into it. Phew, sell off. Now we now add a very clean change of character, right? Change in character. So I just delete that level. So, and this is where we had another change, a very clean change in character here. This is actually analyzing from the higher time frame. Then you now take advantage of this higher time frame on the lower time frame, all right? So if you take advantage of this higher time frame on the lower time frame, so we now add a change in character here. No, now this change in character, what's the nice is that these zones that are here, price is still going to come back to this zone and clear off all these zones. And on the weekly time frame, we also plotted this level I here, right? So now I plotted this new level here, this one. Now price tapped into it and what? We had a change in character there. Now I'm going to delete this level. It has done what it needs to do. And you see that it also attracts this zone, all this level I said, price always attracting for the RTP. You see that it attracts that level. That's where it now has some consolidations. I'm going to delete that one too as well. So now the new zone where we now take another sell is this one. Yeah, these are the weekly levels, all right? These are the weekly levels. You have to understand this. These are the weekly levels. So now we have a new weekly level here where price needs to approach this guy again. Maybe if we approach this guy, then it's now drop again. Maybe it's now drop to this place. But when they drop to this place, I'm going to tell you what is going to happen. And you can watch this my this actually data frame. This might happen in a year and stuff, everything like that. But if you try to watch out, you see that exactly the same thing will happen. So after now, this is now a weekly zone we are looking at. This is a weekly order block. Price might tap into here and come again toward this low, drop further, right? So that's what is there. But now let's analyze from this present price action we are playing at this point here. The whole of this area, the whole of this area here. This is the present price action, all right? So let's analyze from this present price action. So now on that present price action, we now see that this was internal lows and high from low, we drop down, all right, we pull back, we drop down, break it structure, drop down, pull back, break structure here. So after the break of structure here, price, this is where we had break of structure, right? Price drop down and pull back. So this is still a very neat pullback, but actually where price needs to pull back to, for me to considering selling was this guy, but price didn't pull back to that area. Or price didn't pull back to that area, or drop further. Then after it dropped to this point, it didn't break this low. Now, from the daily time frame perspective, this now become the obvious high we could see. This become the obvious low we could see. Now, I'm going to use that my straight same dotted line. So excuse me, guys. I'm going to use that same dotted line here. So now I was just trying to delete this. We already know that that's the weekly order block, right? So I'm going to explain to you how we are going to trade of that same order block. So I want to delete this so that the chart will delete. Now we now have a trading range for the daily time frame from this high here to this low, which is very fine. Now we can go to the 4 hour time frame. All right, so this is the way we go lower in each time frame, we go lower in time frame. Now, I stated something in my last video. I think it was my last video. There are some position I had here. It was a very sweet buy, and I'm actually anticipating for price to pull back to this area now before I buy this particular zone here. But you can see price is kind of coming there, consolidate around that area. But I'm not going to be selling GBPUSD because if you watch my last two videos, I think 2 or 3 videos back, I was talking about the GBPUSD that is very strong. So it's not advisable you trade against the current trend. It's very, very strong. You can say it comes to a particular zone, it will never come there to just be off. So GPUSD is a very strong this thing. So you don't sell it, you actually wait for it to come there, then not buy from that place. So now looking at this present price action here, we had this high here and price what came here and took out this high, which I'm not going to call this a change in character because this was the last high that broke structure, this particular one here. Because see, this was the break of structure here. I mentioned this in my last, I think 2 videos back. Now I'll go watch that video. I already said this in the last video. So this was where we had our last break of structure here. For this particular situation, we had that last break of structure there. So this was the last high we could see. This was the last low. And I stated that anything that make price close above this guy, we have a clean change in trend. And I think we'd add that if I put it from here all the way here, you could see that yes, price has finally taken off that high, which is now taking right to others. From a bullish move from the daily time frame, because these are daily time frame zone, from a bullish move from a bearish move on the daily time frame, we are now in a bullish move. All right. But why price was creating all this one, we are taking these bites to approach this place. So now we now have a clear one. So which I'm expecting price to drop to this place before I take the buy. Now, if I take the buy from this place here, from this particular zone here, from here, which I'm expecting price to drop to, but you have to remember price is not predictive, price is reactive, all right? So if price drop here, I'll take a buy from there. My targets will be somewhere around here, which is going to be that weekly, because you could see this was there mark on the weekly time frame, right? Yeah. So this one was the weekly time frame. Okay, we had another one, daily order block here. So this one was the daily order block. So which area, this area here will be the area of buying to. But I'll be covering only these weeks this external here. Or let me just say I'll be using this particular green candle, this buy to sell candle that's left in between here. So I'll just be using that candle, all right? So that's candle. So that will be my target. So my target will be something like this. I wish it used to work of 1 to 6, all right? So let me see if okay, the candle is not drawn very well, so I only cover the body, so that's the candle. Yeah, so that would be my target. So it used to work of 1 to 6.2. So let's just say 1 to 6, all right? So this would be my next entry, and this would be how my target is going to look like. So this is the new position I'm going to be taking on GBP USD. The way I'm looking at this market, what I'm seeing presently is looking at this market from this situation here. What I am seeing personally is likely price just push back to this particular area. So let me see that area very well. Let me zoom out. Let's see if I have a other block there on 1 hour or so just a clear weak rejection. So it was just a clear weak rejection. So just a very massive rejection candle. Okay, this one coming to 1 hour on this one, I think I spotted a very nice zone on this one here. So we can actually reduce it to something like this. So that's that one on there. But notwithstanding, once price gets to that zone, that's I'm just going to be watching that zone. So any confirmation, so I can extend my targets to 1 to 7. Yeah. So that's what I just saw 1 hour there. So, but notwithstanding, anything that happens at this zone, the whole of this zone here, will determine if price will now come back to this place. Because since we had a change of character here, so price might just since this change of character here, right? That particular eye that has that change in character that gave us that change in character is this particular eye that is here. Let me just go to power sniping so you can see it very well. The eye that actually gave us this change in character is this eye here. So for the fact my price is still trading in all these zones, I've not yet cleared all this particular eye. Price has not closed above it. This change in character is still valid. But anything that make price close above it, then this change in character is not of valid again. All right, it's not of valid again. So, but price might actually push here somewhere here, then dropped further. Now might now drop to this zone. Then from this zone we can now have a change in trend. Then we now finally approach this zone that is here. That is exactly what is going to happen. Or we approach this particular one that is here. They now have a change in trend. We now finally approach this one. That is what I presently see on the market for now. But if price closed above this particular low, that way this was the low, this was the high. I mean the high that give us that change in character. Then this change in character is not valid. Might just see price continue bleeding until it gets to this weekly zone. Actually, I know that this is a weekly major zone. So we now get to this weekly zone, then price might now decide to have another change in character, then now start dropping, or even bleed above, they continue having that buy. But this is just how you trade it. You don't just get in the trade here and say maybe we enter from here. We not say we are targeting straight here. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't say we get in from this trade here and we're not targeting straight out to this. I know. Actually, what take profit, observe what price is doing, and take the next entry. So this is just for price action, and this is exactly what is happening. So if you watch, I actually look at my last trade call video. No, I mean the last analysis trade. There was the last video I dropped on the channel. You see where I talk about EURUSD setup. This particular setup, I'm on this setup now. So you will see it's also pulling back. So I'm on this particular setup. You will see, and this I'm just using 13 pips on this one, and this is about a risk reward of 1 to 12. But not I'm not going to be closing the trade. I might not be closing the trade from here because I have this valid order block that's in this middle here. Yeah, this particular other block here. So price might just drop to this other block and continue. So, but notwithstanding, I still need this price to drop to this other block. But here we had a very clear double bottom, and which I told you that a double bottom in an trend is a trap, which signifies liquidity. That's why I'm interested in taking my buy here. This is the exact place I'm interested in taking the buy. So the real buy I want to take next for Euro USD is actually at this point. So you can see I'm still comfortable selling Euro USD because it's not as much as bullish as that of GBPUSD. So I actually analyzed this in my last video, so you can just go and watch the video about the analysis. So it's there, and I think I dropped a trade for my community today. So which, if you are not on the community, just check the description. If you are not on the community yet, just check the description of this video. You actually find the link to the script, our WhatsApp community, so you can join our WhatsApp community now as well as our Telegram community. Though the Telegram community is not active now, so but you can join. It's going to be active very soon. All right. So for on this one, I dropped these buy setups, and you can see I just put my stop loss below here, and I'm actually targeting this guy here before it now drop further. So that's just what I'm expecting on USD card. So it's been a very very long time I actually trade USD card, but this is actually what I'm watching out for USD card. And you can see if I go to the 15 minutes time frame, okay, let's go to 30 minutes time frame. You could see that this we had this price push up here, drop down again. So that same entry, then we now start going again. This was our first entry here. So this particular candle here. Actually, this was I didn't actually come to the 30, but I've come to 30 time I will use this other block as my entry. So you could see it's very nice there. But I think I used 1 hour. So this was the 1 hour other block, which is still very, very nice. So I think let me show you the 1 hour order block. So you can see. So this is 1 hour order block, which I use, and price dropped below it a little bit. And it's only what came to respect the 30 minutes order block. So actually, if I'll actually come to 30 minute time frame, that would have been where I'll take my trade. And you could see 15 minute time frame does not have any other block or this thing, but it has a last buy to sell candle right it dropped there, and you can see that was exactly placed it's pulled to before giving us the entry. Then after the price went up, came down back to this 1 hour order block because this is my entry. So it came back to that 1 hour order block. Then after pulling up again, you could see this is a very nice sweet buy. So you could see how it's looking on the 15 minutes time frame. This is actually I traded, and you could see I getting this trade with the change of character. So that's what I tell you. You need to be trading. You need to see a change of character. Actually, I draw this setup when it was here. I just brought this other blog here. I said once drop here, I'll get it. So actually it's in my WhatsApp community. So you can just join the community. Anytime I drop some signals like this, you can also be trading them and make more money from it. My stop loss will actually be below this. And if you listen to what I was saying earlier, I said if I say that the pips from here to here is not really far, then I'll just put it here for me to protect my capital more. But actually I can just put the stop loss here, and it's still fine there. But if I actually put this stop loss here, I will have a risk of 1 to 13 on that one, but I actually put it here, so which gave me a risk reward of 1 to 6. All right, so but not too bad. That's still fine. Just watching the price action is playing out, and as it, I believe this goes to ETP. So once you get here, then I'm selling off from there. So this is exactly what I'm just explaining to GPUSD. So you actually see that I mean Eagle USD selling Eagle USD, then wanting to buy this one. Then if I also go to the DXY, actually know my DXY. So the last setups I dropped there, this was it. That's why I need to be watching all my videos that I drop, because once you watch those videos one by one, you'll be understanding. Once I come with a new setup, you understand, because I'll continue from where I stopped in the last video. That's where I just continue. That's how my analysis always works. So in my last analysis, price was here, very close to TP. Then we had this pullback somewhere around here. And I said that I'm seeing two things on this TXY, which is you see that price from this place it is now drop straight to my TP, or pull back to somewhere around here and then now drop to TP. And you can see that price. You can just go to YouTube and watch that video. I think since the last trade call, that was the last trade call video I actually dropped, not the other educational video, the last trade call I dropped. So I just talked about it. I said, once price drops to this point, yeah, it's either it's pulled back from this point here, above here, then I'll drop my TP. Once it now drops my TP, then I'm seeing this new order block area where it now taps into that. We now start selling from there. And which you see that exactly what is going on. So at this point here, it now was pulled back, then dropped the TP. So which even when we had this entry, it was on the trade call was on this channel, you can just watch it. So that's why you need to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because I don't just teach you how break of structure works and change of character and all those stuff. Also give you the entry. We also talk. I also drop those setups and you can only take the setups and trade them. So I think here we come to the end of the video. If you haven't liked this video, you want to smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on that notification bell so you don't stay at the time when I drop some content like this. And I catch you in my next video. Peace out.